Hi everybody, I'm going to show you today some steps to doing push-ups. So if you think you can't do push-ups at the moment, these are the steps you can take. So I'm going to show you starting first of all against the wall here. So I have a corner wall. Doesn't matter corner or not. I'm going to place my hands in line with my shoulders. So straight ahead of my shoulders, and my body is the same distance. So I'm nice and tall, nice and straight here. Okay, so you can start just like that. So two ways of doing push-ups. If you have your palms on the wall, fingers facing the ceiling, elbows are going to point down the way towards the floor, and we're going to control leaning into the wall. When we do this, we want to note our tummy is nice and tight. We're still breathing, but our tummy is tight, and we're not allowing the back to dip. Okay? So, hands on the wall, shoulder length away, straight line from the shoulder to the wrist, fingers are facing the ceiling, and we're going to bend the elbows back the way. So I'm going to bring the elbows to the wall and push back out. So again, we can work on our triceps here. That's the back of the upper arm with this exercise. Again, as soon as you feel the tummy dip or lose control there, stop and reset your core. Coming down to your mat then. If you're not quite ready for the wall or you want to advance in a different way, exercises you can do to strengthen the areas you need. We're talking plank. We can do a box push-up. So let's have a look at those anyway. So let's start with the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. So you're looking for that box shape, nice and strong under the joints. Okay, so first things you can do is a shoulder press up. So that's where you dip down between your shoulder blades and then push up. Okay, so my upper back, you won't be able to see it there with my background, unfortunately, but my scapula are coming close together, and then I'm pushing my scapula up. So that's the scapular push up. So we can strengthen those muscles to strengthen our push up. While you're doing this, make sure that that core is nice and strong again. Tummy is nice and tight, and you're keeping that back nice and flat. So the movement is coming through behind the shoulders there, just the shoulder blades. So dipping down, shoulders are coming back together, shoulder blades coming together, and then pushing away with the floor with the hands and extending through that upper back. So if you really exaggerate it, dip down as far as you're able. Arms are still extended. The elbows don't bend at any point. And again, you're working your scapular control here. So you can do those for quite a while. Do them as reps and sets as anything else. Let's go to our plank then. So from your box position, you can do your half plank. So what you want to do is step those knees back the way. Okay, so stepping back a little bit so you can drop the hips to have a straight line from the shoulders down to your knees. Now, mirror is handy for this. Hands are directly under the shoulders. Spread the fingers for balance. Fingers are pointing forwards. Tummy is tight. Now, this is a good, strong plank. You'll feel a pull in the tummy here, as well as tension in the arms. You want to keep the neck in line with the back. So I'm looking at you here, confusing you now, but what you should do is make sure you have a straight line from your tailbone to the top of your head and keep your eyes looking straight forward. Hold this for as long as possible. Feet can be down, but it's actually a little easier if they're up. As long as you can, and then when you can't anymore, you can push back and sit back on the heels and stretch the arms. From here, you can just rest. Bring the head down, walk the fingers out, and stretch the back of the arms. So you can take turns between your plank. So this is your plank again. Again, remember you have those shoulder blades drawn back to the spine, nice and strong through the back, and down to your core. Your tummy should feel a little pull. Keep it tight, but keep breathing. As soon as you need to, sit back out of it. Okay. Let's go into our 4-point kneeling position again, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and let's pull those shoulders back and down away from the ears. My shoulder blades, I'm trying to draw them back towards my spine, so there's strength in my back. So from here, we can do what we did on the wall and bend the elbows towards the floor. So keep your bottom in the air. You're lowering your upper body only. So as if you're bowing and push back up. Okay, so this is tough. Your whole body weight or half your body weight is on it. And what we want to do is control it all the way down to the ground. Nose touches the floor, and then we push up through our hands, straightening our elbows. Okay, so try and keep alignment there if you do it this way. Now, you don't need to come down as far if that's hard. You don't have to bring your face to the floor, but try and bring your elbows close to the mat. So that's going to work the upper back of the arm there. So tricep dip, tricep push up. Next, we'll do a box push up with the elbows flared. Now, there'll be different people who say different things about whether these are right or wrong. The idea is that as long as you're working the muscle you're aiming to work with the exercise, then it's not wrong. And you're not, as long as you're not putting any weight on joints or anything like that. So in our box position again, this time we can turn our hands a tiny bit so our fingers are pointed a little bit in. So now my thumbs are facing each other. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is bend my elbows out to the side and push up. Okay, so from here, that might be very tough because it's up by your face. So you can move it back a tiny bit. Again, you're going to have to keep your control over your legs here for now, and then bend the elbows out to the side and push back up. So you should feel that's a little bit different. It'll come into the chest more than just the back of the arm. Main thing here is hips stay steady, so you don't lean forward. All the movement comes hinging from the hips down to the floor. We try and keep the same angle at the knee. And again, you can come down a little bit and come back up and build that up first, and then gradually get closer to the floor. Now, main thing is, pardon me, core control. Don't leave the back dip. Try and make sure that the muscles you're trying to work are the ones you're hitting with the exercise. And besides that, enjoy. It gets easier as you go. So start maybe by practicing your planks and your scapular push-ups. Maybe try it at the wall, then you can come to the floor. You can also use a step. I don't have one. I have a skateboard and it has wheels, so hopefully it won't roll away on me. But if you had anything at a height, you can do these on that height as well. So even a chair, what you would do is just come up to, like you would at the wall, okay? But you're going from the knees with your chair. So arms distance away and bend the elbows, come into the chair, keeping your line through your body. Okay, so try those and see how you go. Better push-ups on the way. Next, I'm going to go through a glute bridge. We did that in our workout too. And we're going to be lying on our back one for this one. So, coming around to a seated position. Bring yourself down to the floor with control. So try not to flop at any point. You can use your muscles as control. So I'm going to try and I'm placing my feet first on the floor. I'm going to bring them in close to my bottom. But I also want to make sure there's no gap in under my back. Okay, so if you could fit your hand in under there, you need to pelvic tilt, which means tilt your pelvis, squeeze your bum a tiny bit to tuck it, and push that lower back into the floor. So anything when you're doing your abs or moving from the floor like this, you want to protect the back by making sure it's pushed down into the floor, and that means a pelvic tilt. Okay, so that's your starting position. Now we want to tilt from the coccyx, which is your tailbone, right down at the bottom, and we want to roll up through the spine. So try and feel each part, and it'll take a little bit of time to segment it. So pushing through your heels, start by curling the bottom. So now all that's lifted for me is my coccyx right down the very tailbone. Now I'm going to go lower spine, I'm trying to hit each vertebra on the way up. I'm squeezing the glutes, and then not that you can see it with that tracksuit on, but I'm squeezing the glutes and I'm coming up to the top. So again, I have that straight line in the front now from the shoulder to the knee. Nice and strong through the back, contracted glutes, terrible tracksuit, and core control. And when we're coming back down then, we want to reverse it. So now we're up at the top. We're up on the top of the spine and we're trying to hit the next vertebra down. So you can see I'm curling, and to do so, I'm really squeezing those glutes. So I'm trying to keep the glutes up off the floor. My thighs are contracted, my glutes are contracted, and I'm trying to hit each vertebra at a time. Now you can leave your head down. I left it there, you don't need to. And then lastly is a little roll to hit the end of the coccyx. So you roll up through the spine and then roll down through the spine and try and control every movement. Okay, so glute bridge, give that one a go. Next, I'm going to show you some abdominal exercises. Now, nothing major, but more how you will control your core for them. Okay, so we've done the Russian twist. So we'd start sitting nice and tall. The legs are lengthened in front, but knees bent. This can move, that's okay. You'll find a position that works. Now we want chest up, shoulders back, just like we're trying to keep nice, good, nice posture. And we're going to hinge a little bit. Now, as soon as you start to hinge, you should feel a pull on the lower tummy. That's your start position. That pull, that constant pull. Now we're twisting at that constant pull, and you're doing it with control. So I have a tension across here, but also as I twist, the side I'm twisting towards is getting a bit of tension as well. You don't ever leave down the weight if you can. If you need to, fine. But if you can keep it up and keep control, bring the whole body around, twisting from the hips. Hips stay facing forwards. Okay, so lying on our backs, we did a flutter kick the last day. That one is very tough for most, not anyone in particular, just most people find it tough. Again, come down onto the floor, tilt the pelvis so that lower back is pushed into the floor. Okay, so I have no gap here to slide my hand under now. Normally we have a little gap. We want to tilt it so we've no gap. From here, if you extend the legs at all, the lower back wants to arch. Okay, that's normal. So even working on pushing that down into the floor with your pelvic tilt is going to strengthen that for you. So literally squeezing the glutes and releasing them is going to push that lower back into the floor and then let it up. So there's the space, and then I'm contracting that space. Okay, so then we had our marching. I'm going to bring my arms to the side. If you're doing your marching like we were before, as soon as you lift the leg, the lower back wants to raise. So your job is to tilt that pelvis while you're moving, keeping that back pushed into the floor. So that's hard already. Imagine then you take two legs up and your whole body wants to arch. So step it up gradually and build the core as you go. What you can also do is place a towel under the hips or your hands. So what you'll often see is I'm placing my hands on the floor. My thumbs are joined together just at the top of my bottom. Okay. So now from here, if I lift my legs, my hands are given just that little bit tilt so the lower back is pushed into the floor. Now, if you were to do your marching from here, the body still wants to pull, but there's a small bit more control because you have that pelvic tilt with the hands. Always take it step by step. So you could do this. That works, okay? That constant moving. And what it does is it makes it a little bit easier in a way because you're never really holding your core for too long. To develop it, what we want to do is slow it down, really slow it down. So one leg goes out, then it comes back in to join, then the other leg goes out. So you're stabilizing that movement all the way through. One last thing on that, if you bring your leg out straight and back in, there's a little pull, and that's enough to get started. Okay? As you get stronger, you can bring the leg a little bit lower. And when you do it now, you'll feel that back trying to pull off the floor. And as you get stronger and stronger again, you'll be able to come down to the floor while keeping the back pushed in. I'm trembling a lot here now because I'm out of practice. It takes a lot of effort to keep it and do that flutter, but we'll get there. So always protect that lower back. You can hug in the knees from here then, and little rock side to side to flatten out that lower back and take that tension out. Okay, so that is 3 or 4 exercises just broken down a little bit if you want to go over them again and kind of perfect them for yourselves.